I never thought I would live to see a queen nearly brought down by her own best friend, but I did, and it happened right before my eyes. My name is Adana, and I was a servant in the palace of Queen Olama of Umiwo people. She was the most beloved queen our land had ever known, kind, fair, and wise. She listened to people and made sure no one went hungry. The king, her husband, trusted her completely, and that made some people jealous, especially her best friend, Nenna. Nenna had been by the queen's side since they were children. Everyone thought she was loyal, but I saw the way she looked at the queen when no one was watching. There was envy in her eyes. I was just a servant, so I kept quiet. Who would believe me? Then strange things started happening. One evening, a servant girl named Ifoma brought a tray of roasted yams and palm oil to the queen. The queen smiled and reached for a piece, but just as she was about to eat, a dog, one of the palace hounds, jumped up and snatched a piece from the tray. Within seconds, the dog collapsed, foaming at its mouth. The queen gasped. The room fell silent. The food was poisoned. The king ordered the palace guards to find out who had prepared the food. Ifoma, trembling, said she had received it directly from Nenna. When questioned, Nenna laughed. "My queen, why would I ever harm you? I received the food as a gift from a market woman and thought you would enjoy it." The king, unsure, let it go, but I saw the way Nenna's eyes flickered. She had been testing waters. A few weeks later, chaos erupted in the palace. The queen's golden bracelet, a gift from the king, had gone missing. The palace guards searched everywhere and finally found it hidden under my sleeping mat. I was dragged before the queen. I pleaded, swearing I had never touched it. The queen hesitated. She had always trusted me. Then Nenna stepped forward. "My queen, we must not let emotions blind us. A thief must be punished." Tears filled my eyes. I knew if the queen allowed it, I would be beaten or banished. But then something unexpected happened. The king's younger sister, Princess Adora, stepped forward. Let us search the palace again," she suggested. "Perhaps there is more to this." The guards obeyed, and soon they found another identical bracelet in Nenna's room, wrapped in a cloth beneath her clothes. Nenna gasped, pretending to be shocked. "I don't know how that got there." The queen studied her carefully. "Perhaps someone is trying to cause trouble," she said. Then she turned to me. "Adana, I believe you." I was safe, but I knew Nenna wasn't done yet. The most dangerous of all her plans came soon after. Whispers spread through the palace like wildfire. People said the queen was using charms to control the king, that she had poisoned the late queen mother, that she wanted to rule alone. At first, the queen ignored the gossip, but then the king started acting differently. He no longer smiled at her. He spent more time with the elders, listening to their doubts. One evening, I saw Nenna speaking in hushed tone with Chief Obika, one of the elders. My heart pounded. I had to find out what was happening, so I followed them. They slipped into a dark room at the back of the palace. I pressed my ear to the wooden wall. "I have done everything you asked me," Nenna whispered. "The king already doubts her. By the time the council meets, she would be gone." Chief Obika chuckled. "And you would take her place." My stomach twisted. Nenna wanted to be queen. I ran straight to the queen's chambers and told her everything. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she nodded. "Leave this to me." The next day at the council meeting, the queen stood tall, her eyes swept over the elders, the king, and Nenna, who stood beside the king, pretending to be concerned. "You say I am using charms," the queen said. "You say I poisoned the queen, the queen mother. Who amongst you has proof?" Silence. Or are these just words meant to turn my husband against me? Nenna stepped forward. "My queen, we only seek the truth." The queen raised her hand. "Then let us find the truth." She turned to the king. "My husband, let every person in this palace be questioned. Let our medicine men check for the poison in the queen mother's remain. Let those who spread these rumors swear before the gods." Nenna froze. The elders looked at each other. They hadn't expected this. That was when the king stood up. Let it be so. Within days, the truth unraveled. A palace guard confessed after being promised protection. He told everyone how Nnenna had paid him to spread the rumors, how Chief Obika had planned to remove the queen, how they wanted to put Nnenna in her place. The king was furious. Chief Obika was stripped of his title. Nnenna was banished, never to return. I watched as the queen stood before the people, her head held high. She had been betrayed by the one closest to her, but she did not break. That night, when I brought her evening meal, she looked at me and said, "Thank you, Adanna. I had only done what was right, and from that day, I swore to always stand by her side."